What's your greatest, most satisfying I freaking called it moment? Hey guys, we created a brand new Discord server for you guys to talk with people with similar interests. Come here and let's all hang out together. The next 100 people to join enter a giveaway with the prize being something from our sponsor. Link in the description. Story 1. Kept finding small cut-up straws in my grandma's bathroom. So many straws. I let my grandmother know that someone is using her bathroom to use drugs. She freaks out saying I'm accusing her of using drugs and that it's impossible. A year later my uncle divorces his wife due to her cocaine addiction. Grandma says well Kay always stopped by in the afternoon to use the restroom and then she would clean my whole house, and I just didn't think anything of it. My favorite story at Thanksgiving. Story 2. I went to the theater to watch a movie with some buddies one time. While waiting in line to get popcorn I found 22 cents on the ground and one buddy said, "When are you ever going to need 22 cents?" I jokingly told him that one day he's going to wish he had 22 cents and he'll regret saying that. Sure enough, when we're paying for popcorn, that same buddy was exactly 22 cents short. I gave it to him in exchange for a popcorn tax. Story 3. The first Avengers movie. My husband was wondering why the staff could stop the almighty Tesseract. I casually said, "Maybe they're both Infinity Stones." He said, "Nah, the Tesseract is its own thing." Because he was more into the comics at the time, I shrugged it off. Since then, every MacGuffin in the movies, down to Thor's Dark World, I jokingly said, "Infinity Stone" to troll him. You can imagine how pissed he's been since Guardians. Story 4. I've been practicing law in the same venue for many years with the same judges and attorneys. New hotshot attorney out of law school is opposing counsel. It's a death case. My client was not responsible, but opposing counsel would not listen to reason. On the eve of trial, my client is willing to offer a decent amount to settle the case. I call the attorney and encourage her to take it. I told her that if she didn't accept, when we went to trial the next day I was going to have all her evidence thrown out and strike her witnesses. She thought I was bluffing. I assured her I was not. I told her to call any attorney in the area and ask them if I was a straight shooter. She basically told me to frick and that she'd see me at trial. Sure enough, the judge excludes her documentary evidence, all hearsay, and strikes her witnesses. She has zero evidence when the judge is through with her. Her client was in tears. I think she got sued for malpractice. She wasn't at that firm long after that debacle. But I freaking told her that would happen. Story 5. Found out my now ex-husband was sleeping with a coworker. So naturally we divorce, but still have to keep in contact because we have a daughter. Well, her fiancé finds out and leaves her as well. Now she is a decade older than me and had mentioned that she and her ex-fiancé had been trying for a baby for a long time, but never conceived. He continued to see her and eventually she moved on with him. He didn't want any more kids. I told him to be careful because I suspected she was only with him to have a baby. Fast forward a year and she's pregnant. He comes to terms with it after being slightly upset. Fast forward a year after their baby was born and she breaks up with him. Shocker. Story 6. Coworker made a very unethical, behind closed doors deal with another company, and he was an agency resource, not even a full employee of my company. After months, I spoke up about something being fishy and concerns of pre-committing purchasing, etc. My apathetic boss ignores me, all while coworker secures a job at the other company to work on the project that he set up with my company. Fast forward a year later, now they are citing that project as a pre-commit for service. Wisdom never tasted so sour. Story 7. Friend of mine got into a relationship with this girl. He tells me that she cries every time he tries to end their chat. I immediately think to myself, this isn't going to be good. She becomes incredibly controlling, to the point of our crew only hearing from him once every few weeks. I mentioned how utterly fricked it was to him, but he refused to believe that there was something wrong. Claimed he could persuade her otherwise. 2 years later, no sign of any of his progress. Was really sad to watch him slowly fade out of our lives in favor of her. Added just a quick rephrase for clarity. Story 8. My wife was watching some TV show. I happened to walk in during some scene in which it was raining out, and a guy and a gal were looking at each other through their car windows as their kid went from one car to the other. I said, here comes the scene where they make up, without knowing any of the background of the show. My wife started telling me that it won't happen. They had had a failed relationship years earlier, hence the kid, and the woman was with a great guy. Right after she said that, the woman got out and ran to the guy's car, basically professing her love for him. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to help out the channel. But first, a word from our sponsor, Light Gallery. It's a game changer when it comes to illuminating your living space. If you're looking to add a touch of creativity to your home, this is the perfect solution. They offer a varied collection of high-quality illuminating objects. The last couple of days I had the chance to try out their realistic moon lamp. I have to say that my room caught a new feeling, and not only this, but this lamp is shown to improve focus, which was really important for creating awesome stories for you. Light Gallery offered 15% off if you use the code CARL7. But hurry, it's only for the next 72 hours. Link in the description, and let's get back to the stories. Story 9. Probably not the only one, but I was watching Seven for the first time and my mom was eagerly watching me as I reacted to the movie. She lost her crap when I said, "Is that Kevin Spacey?" During the phone call scene. She couldn't believe I recognized his voice and figured out who it was before the big reveal. I'm obviously not the only one to have guessed, but it was satisfying watching her reaction. Story 10. Following a car with its left turn signal on for 2 miles. The driver kept slowing at side streets as if to make a left turn, but didn't actually turn. I looked over at my daughter and said, "Watch, they'll make a right turn." Fricking called it. Yes, they were still signaling left when they made the right turn. Story 11. When my brother and sister-in-law planned a trip home for Easter weekend, I told my wife and parents that they were coming to announce their pregnancy. Everyone told me I was crazy and they'd just use the family chat for that. Cue Easter lunch on Saturday and my sil refuses a glass of wine and everyone guesses she's pregnant. Called it. Story 12. There used to be a show called Tales from the Dark Side. I was watching it with my brother. The episode started with a female hiker who was lost and was taken in by an old couple. About 5 minutes into the episode I said the old people are going to cook and eat the young lady. Brother thought I was crazy. End of the episode was the young lady in the hot tube and the old people were bringing it up to boil and adding in vegetables and turning her into a soup. Story 13. One of the old coaches from the Chicago Bears is Mark Trestman. I told everyone that he would not make it to the 3rd year of his contract. He would get fired after the 2nd season. I made a $500 bet with my dad because I was that damn sure. Soon as the news broke, I called him and told him I prefer cash over check. Story 14. About a year after my father's death, my mother got together with a man. I felt as if something was off from the start and told her that he doesn't seem right, and that he was going to do something stupid and hurt her emotionally. A year later they got engaged and they seemed happy. I've never seen my mother so happy since before my father died. Well, as of yesterday, it came out that this man has been engaged to someone else since before my mother met him and that he has been sleeping with at least 2 other women on a regular basis. Wish I could tell her that I had freaking called it, but I'm afraid it will make her more upset anyways. Now to build my revenge plan. Wish me luck. Story 15. This is my best and worst called it moment. I was sitting in biology class in high school when I heard sirens outside and looked outside the window to see an ambulance rushing past. I thought to myself, that's headed in the direction of my grandma's house, even though there was a plethora of other streets it could have turned on. Looking back, it was only even vaguely heading in that direction. I had the thought because my grandma had a heart attack a year prior. I got word a few hours later that it did in fact head to my grandparents' house, only it was for my aunt who was staying with them. She was murdered outside their house by her ex-boyfriend. I'm still not sure why I thought the ambulance was heading there, but being correct sucked.